What's up? Come on over to my place. You do that, baby. If y'all can come in whenever y'all come in, hello to you. Uh, if you can see by the title, uh, Black men just have a different experience. Now I was thinking about this a couple of days ago when I went live, and I wound up talking to somebody from YouTube afterwards, where I was going, and we were having this discussion about um, black people. And I'm gonna be particular when I talk about black men. What's up, Ron? What's up, Justin? Well, I think black men have a different experience, and people tie our experiences to their experiences. I think to beef up their experiences, and I think it winds up doing us a disservice. And because it does us a disservice, we don't like it, or we'll speak out against it, or we just not feeling it, or we just walk away from things because we know our experience is different than everybody else's. And I'm not saying everybody else doesn't have an experience. Like from the whole spectrum of all different races, male and female, everybody has a different experience. You have a different experience being a man, you have a different experience being a woman. What's up, Jermaine? So that goes for black men and black women have different experiences in America. Same thing goes for Hispanic men and women. The same thing goes for Asian men and women. The same thing goes for Arab men and women. The same thing goes for white men and women. It's a different experience. And the thing about it is, one of the things that makes our experience unique is, we're getting, people want to take, when something happens to them, they want to say they're getting treated like us. If something unfair happens to them, they want to say they're getting treated like us. But at the same time, what's up, DJ Moss, what's popping? But at the same time, we're also getting blamed for what other men do in their experience. So this is a unique thing. Like, when the ladies are talking about feminism, right? As a black man, it's weird because you hear our women talk about how they were oppressed, but by men, but they're talking about white men, but somehow we're included in it. And I would think about that, like, okay, well, I don't hear Hispanic women, talk about the oppression, because we're women, we were oppressed, by white men and Hispanic men and black men is just the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear Asian women, and I hardly hear Asian women talking about feminism, to be perfectly honest. But Arab women, Middle Eastern women, they don't say, because we were oppressed in this Middle Eastern culture, and it's the black guys' fault. What's happening? What's up, Major? What's happening, Brian? So for us, that's our experience. Like we can be the villain of a story that ain't even ours, and it's okay. And the problem with that is it buffers everybody else's shenanigans. So just using white guys as an example, when women come talk about feminism, that's white women and white men. So when you include black men into the things that white men were doing, you buffer what the white men were doing. Goshen, man, what's happening? How you doing? So for us, that's a different experience. That's a whole different experience. Like, we don't get it. We don't get, like, okay, we were oppressed and we were stopped from doing this, and we were raped. Because I was talking to the sister about it, and I was like, I think the ladies don't understand. it's not the oppression Olympics. I'm not talking about this in a way to say it's the oppression Olympics. What I'm trying to say is it's different. Vern, what's happening? And I was talking to the sister, and I was like, here's the thing. When me, when black men and black women have this slavery discussion, right? I was like, sisters don't realize um, black men were in slavery in this country close to 150 years before even the women showed up. So when they say they weren't protected, it's like y'all don't even take into consideration. Y'all really wasn't here for over a century. The guys are here solely dealing with this for over a century. Over a century. What's up, Naima? How you doing? And so to say, we went through slavery together. We did for the last 80 something years together. But the prior almost 150 years, it wasn't together. It's not to diminish the part. It's just to put it in perspective. Or Thor James, what's happening? Devin, what's happening? Vern, I'm bugging. So, and I'm saying that to say this, because we were talking, and she says, we were raped. Women were raped, and had the babies taken from them. I'm like, yes, that happened. But what I'm trying to tell you, and you I'm part of that conversation we was having. How you doing, MJ? So, and when she said we were raped, I was like, yeah, that's true. But what if the guys say, because y'all were raped, we were raped too? See, we were raped, and our babies were taken from us. It'll sound different. It wouldn't sound like it makes them. It would sound nonsensical. What's up, OJ, man? Thanks, fam. It would sound different. And this is why I was making this is like, we have different experiences, because if the men take, say, oh, we as black men were the tools of gynecology. You remember like when I used to take the black women of slaves and stick all the rods up in them and whatnot, because that happened to black women. We as black men, that happened to us too. That's not true. We got a different experience. It's just different. That's where, yeah, men were raped too. I get that, Major, but I don't mean, in the sense of the men are saying because the women were raped, we take on that because they were raped, we were raped. That's different. You know what I'm saying? I know men were raped, but for one, it wasn't at the same clip as the women when the women got here. And for two, the guys aren't going to say, because I was using it as an example, like if you sitting there with your girlfriend or your wife, what's up, Third Ward? What's up, Gene? You sitting there with your girlfriend and your girlfriend got molested, right? And you wind up marrying her, or let's just get long-term girlfriend, and she tells the story of getting raped or molested, and you say, see, we got raped or molested when we were 12. She's going to look at you like you out your mind, because that didn't happen to you. You just happen to be tied to the person that it happened to. So this is why I say our experiences are different. Like people are tying themselves to our experiences as if it's theirs and it's not. Like when I was thinking about, racially. What's up, Dion? He's laughing. Yeah, I got that Major Buck Burke, and I get that part. But Buck Burke was also killing too and beating. It wasn't just rape, The thing about that is, when it comes to race, we have a different experience, because I hear this from, like when you see the people out here with the signs, not going outside is like slavery. This is how it sounds to us. Like this is when I hear people say stuff like that. It's equivalent to slavery. For one, I know you ain't black when you say that. When you say something like that, or even when the women say, submission is slavery, I'm like, do you, this means you're so disconnected from that experience that you're making stuff up. What's up, Reggie? Because the racial aspect is different. When you hear people say, I'm getting treated like I'm black, I feel like how black people are treated. They're really not talking about, they're really not talking about the women. They're talking about the men's experiences. And then And it's like, that's really not your experience. You don't even know what that feels like. You know, Bucket, what's happening? Like, you ever been somewhere and you heard somebody, you know, because say when other people get pulled over, you know, they even do clip like white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Arab people. They have a whole different dynamic of dealing with the police than we do because they have a whole different experience. You know, they don't, you know, um, the things that it's even with the women. Like you can get smart, like a woman can get smart with an officer, or a woman can flirt with an officer. That's off the table for a man in general. You know, and that's off the table, and that's off the table for a black man. Like I've seen black dudes talk crazy to cops. The only black dudes I've seen who talk crazy to cops and nothing happens are gay black dudes. Like, and their experience is different from a straight black dude. This is why I say, you know, we have different experiences because everybody has a pro and a con about their experience in America, their history in America, uh, and how people treat them in America. Everybody has good things and bad things. Some people have far more good things than other people. But when the things go bad, you know, our name comes up. And it's like that's not you. Like that's not really your experience. You had an unfair day, an unfair week, an unfair this, that, and the third, and now all of a sudden it's like you black. No, no. I was talking about when I was younger, excuse me, and I went to football camp and we had Amish kids that was Amish roommates. And those Amish roommates got caught by the police with, you know, almost an ounce of weed. You know where it's like 27, 28 grams, something like that back in the day, where, you know, if it's under an ounce, it's not a felony. But they got caught with that amount of weed on them. And the cop just took the weed and walked off. Now, we were telling them, like, and they were like talking to us like, you know, that's normal. And for me and my homeboys that I grew up with, man, Steph, man, yo ass. Thanks, man. I see you doing your thing. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly, man. Salute to you, man. If ain't nobody subscribe to Steph, Steph doing his thing, man. And I'm happy for you, bro. Keep doing that shit. Keep doing it. It's all love and thanks, and just salute to you on that. You know, and you know, and that's part of what I'm getting at. What I'm be talking about too is our experiences are those of a race we don't belong. You know what I'm saying? When good things happen, like when good things happen to black men, people are shocked or upset. When bad things happen to them, they're getting treated like they're black. Remember that Jane Elliott thing? You know, when she was in the room with the white folks, and she was like, "If you want to be treated like our black citizens, stand up." And they didn't stand up. And she said, "Maybe you don't understand it. If you want to be treated in America the same way the black brothers and sisters get treated, stand up." And they didn't stand up. And he said, "Well, that lets me know you know something going on, and you know you don't want it for you. So why are you cool with having it for everybody else?" And that's one of the things that's different about our experience. Like people racially, as far as racism goes, are accomplices. You know, they're silent, and because the women and people say speak up, speak up. As a black man, speak up don't mean nothing. I'm gonna tell you why. When you're speaking up, you might be speaking up for women, but men and women in general, outside of race, there's a different dynamic of men can handle themselves. They don't need your help. So that's one aspect of it. And the other aspect of it is because you're black, other people could get away with stuff doing to you that they could get away with doing things to you that they wouldn't do to anybody else. they have a certain amount of built-in respect, and they have a certain amount of arrogance when somebody might be attacking. If I'm as me as a black man, if somebody who's not a black man attacks me, it's a culture shock that I attack back. Like take this for instance. I remember because I told y'all about the boxing podcast. We got to get that back popping because this coronavirus slowed everything down. But when Floyd Mayweather fought Victor Ortiz, Victor Ortiz headbutted him, and when Victor Ortiz headbutted him, and he tried to play sorry, and then they started the fight, and Floyd just hit him with that 1-2 and knocked him out. Everybody said Floyd was dirty. That was cheap. That was dirty. Now we're in for one. I said they were in a fight for one. Victor broke the rules of the fight for two. Went outside of the box with it, right? Then he wanted to play I'm sorry, and while the fight was still on, and he got punched in the mouth. It's boxing. You're supposed to get punched. You know that's the job to punch somebody out. And then this idea that that's a dirty trick. That's a dirty shot. Something was wrong with that. The silence does speak volumes. Right. But that's what I'm talking about, Orenthal. Like they was mad at Floyd for that. Like that's a cheap move. No, the headbutts was the cheap move. See, it was like you need to be classy, you need to be the bigger man and let this guy be, just be over the top because he's not black. Because he's not black. That's how I look. All right. Because mind you, when Mike Tyson bit Evander, it was dirty. Right. It was dirty. And if people don't realize the underlying story was Mike Tyson told the refs to stop to not allow Evander with the headbutts. So he headbutted at Mike one too many times and Mike snapped. But Mike went too far. But the thing about that is if one of those fighters, say if that was Mike Tyson and Klitschko or Evander Holyfield and Klitschko, and that would have happened, it'd have been a completely different response because the person, that started it or the person that finished it, one of those people weren't black. Right. Exactly. Brothers are always supposed to take the high road while everybody else is taking the low road. Like when, Michelle Obama, they go low, we go high. No, that doesn't work. And I mean, it works long term, but sometimes for the short term, it doesn't work. And that's the difference. Like I was this morning, me and my lady was watching The Hangover, and I love The Hangover, right? But The Hangover is such a hilarious movie, but if you take a movie like The Hangover and you make that 4 black dudes, you're not gonna get that movie. You get what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get 4 dudes go to Vegas. And for one, the roofies thing, that's a whole nother thing. What up, Paul? South Paul, what's popping? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get 4 black dudes, they're gonna steal a police car. No. And if they get caught stealing a police car, they're just gonna go through the taser thing to get out of it. No. Or to have a conversation with them. No. Oh man, Indian, what's popping? That's not gonna happen. To get caught, to get shot at, not gonna happen. Just as simple as going to the doctor's office and asking all those questions. Probably not gonna happen. Toreen, what's happening? So this is it's a different experience because that's like even when I look at television and movies, we can't have like I like action movies, right? In America, you can't have action movies with an all-black cast like you can have action movies with other groups. Because, like, say you get a action movie, an Asian action movie, it's in Asia or whatever. or Hispanic action movies. It's in a Hispanic country, so it's that dynamic. We're in America, so even an African action movie is in Africa. We can't have an action movie in America because it'll look completely ridiculous. But people don't take that into consideration. Like, um, let me think of like we can't. It's a reason why they're not just flipping out about having a black James when Idris Elba wanted to be James Bond. He's black, but the difficulty to wrap your head around James Bond being black is one thing. The difficulty of the amount of stuff James Bond gets away with in the world, black James Bond ain't gonna be able to do that. You get what I'm saying? All the people that you kill and all the things you blow up, not gonna do that. Same thing if you make it like if Rambo was black, it wouldn't be the same. If you think of Rambo, First Blood, whatever, any one of those Rambo movies, and make the character black. All the things that were done in the movie can't be done. If you think of a horror movie, Jason and Freddy and all of they can't be black. The Candyman is fictitious and stuff like that. All those horror movies fictitious, but you're not gonna go. Nobody's gonna have a black Freddy Krueger and don't go to sleep. That's gonna be a whole other thing. He said it'll be watered down. That's a major problem. There is a black version of The Hangover, Southpaw. It's Girls Trip, but I'm talking about with the men. Girls Trip is a black version of The Hangover, but the thing about it is you can't have like Candyman is like that's what like and I don't like horror movies, so that's one thing, and just me in general. But when I look at the things that I like, I can't see it'll look unrealistic. Even though Hollywood is unrealistic, it throws a whole nother dynamic into it. Like I'm gonna say, Inside Man. It's one of my favorite movies, Inside Man. If Denzel Washington was oh man, I forgot the white cat's name. If Denzel Washington was the bank robber trying to get the guy because of the Holocaust, it'd be a different movie. It wouldn't go that way. If Denzel Washington was the bank robber and he had everybody in the same uniforms and this, that, and digging into the bank, it would come off completely different. Like people would be like, they wouldn't have the patience. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. They wouldn't have the patience. Like even with the superhero movies, when you look at Hancock, was a drunk. That's how they portrayed him. He couldn't be he had to learn to be a hero and whatnot. This is, somebody like, our experience is different. It's like somebody like, right. He said the Leprechaun was so crazy. The black boy said it's just different, man. Like it's a bad. The reason hold up, because the NFL draft just happened, right? And I had talked about this prior, right? Where what I mean by our experiences are different. The NFL draft, he was something that was crazy to me. Okay, I hate the NFL draft. I hate certain things about it. I don't hate the draft. I hate the Mel Kiper always trying to prop up the white players when they're not good and talk down the black players when they are good. You know what I'm saying? That bothers me every year. He can't do this. Oh, he can't do that. Oh, he needs to work on this. Oh, maybe he needs to work on it. But when it's a white player, he's gonna be good. He'll be a good pro. He needs to work on his mechanics. and he'll be great. Like, yeah, I'll liken him to, he could be Peyton Manning. Now he's sorry, but you're gonna give him this. Oh, I graded him high. I graded him super high. He's gonna be great. Oh, he has all the intangibles. But when a black dude has all the intent, he doesn't. Technique sucks. Is like, oh, okay, it's a different experience. Same thing with I was looking at part of the draft, and that's why I said it's a different experience. Also, is I was looking at the sisters online talking about all the black girlfriends that were there, and I'm thinking to myself, this is our experience. These young men work themselves to have a dream job, and people and some of the ladies in our community, but it's black girlfriends there. Oh, look at the black girlfriends getting shine. So, like, think about that. Like, if you know, if there was if females were singers, like not even like the WNBA, right? These young women, young girls to women, work their way up to the WNBA, and they get drafted, and it's their dream come true, right? And then you see black men saying, "Look at all the black boyfriends." Shout out to all the black boyfriends sitting next to his girlfriend. That's it. You deserve it. Like it just sounds weird. The Last Dragon was good, but it was unrealistic. You know, it was unrealistic. Right. Exactly. Trey Wingo put out the T. Higgins' mother's was an addict. Man, ain't nobody asked you all that. You know, it's a good story. No, nobody want to hear all of that. Make that later, you know. He says the city girls get drafted. It's cold. Meridian, what's popping? Romney, my bad. He said leave them if they don't get. That's crazy. Wow. Hold on. What's going on? You know, and that's a whole nother experience, right? Yeah. Yeah, man. And that's a whole nother dynamic. Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing. Vern, those guys don't exist. It's looked at bad that these guys are with their fathers. You get what I'm saying? Because that's a whole nother experience. Because I'm gonna get to the military thing too, brother. When a father is proud of his son for being successful, people give that look like, but like if a young man hits a certain truth, what's happening? When a young man say he goes to make a bunch of money, take care of your mama. But then they're gonna and that's black men need to take care of their mama, right? But on the flip side, they'll look like, don't let your daddy take none of your money. So that's a whole different experience. Like people act like these black fathers are not going to look out for their son's best interest. You just automatically assume dad's going to try to rob the kid. You know, yeah, man, it sucks, legend. You know, this is where we at with a lot of this stuff. Now that's part of the problem. Like even like what Meridian was talking about with the military. Like when some of us talk about our experiences, it's different. It's different. Right. Like I never had a problem. I don't have a problem with that's what I mean, because I heard Shannon Sharp bring that up with on Skip Bayless. I don't have a problem with Christian McCaffrey getting paid. What I had a problem with was now they made all the excuses that why Christian McCaffrey should get paid, and they're a complete hypocritical opposite of what was said to make sure Le'Veon Bell shouldn't get paid. Because man, he's not a running back and a receiver. He's just a running back. He needs to just be a running back. But now when Christian McCaffrey, he's a running back and a receiver. He caught all 80-something balls and da. He's a dual threat player. And it's like, Y'all making this stuff up, man. I mean, it's a fact he is, but now the rules are different. You know, that's a problem. You know, same thing with the other experiences. It's a trip. You know, the same thing with when we talked about like Zion thing last year. Yeah, they did the same thing with Zeke. You know, that's a damn problem. But you got, and that right there is a whole nother story. Like people don't realize, you know, as black men, us as fathers is under attack. You know, like you don't hear other groups saying, you know, I'm gonna put this man on. Like even when they put other groups of men on child support, it's not something you hearing that people say, you know, oh, I'm pregnant, we're gonna put you on child support. You know, or assuming these guys are gonna be no good fathers just immediately off the bat. Assuming that they don't know what they're doing immediately off the bat. And it's this need to say that I'm better than you and you aren't as smart as me, or you lack the intelligence to do this, that, and the third, that becomes problematic. You know, that's not everybody else's experience. That's just ours. You know, that's where we at. Randall, what's happening? That's where we're at. When you have to, when we're looked at generationally in a negative light. Like I don't think people, like when you take other groups' history, right? Quit, what's happening? You know, when you take other group of men's and races and ethnicities, their history, they can tell you all the good things they did. Even the good things that the bad people in their group did. You know, like, and we consider white guys founding fathers and patriots. You know, like we think about, we're in the country where when you play Cowboys and Indians, you say the Cowboys are the good guys. Even though as an adult, you know, Cowboys wasn't the good guys. Now, even with that being said, we say Cowboys not realizing that black men were cowboys, and it was a derogatory term at the time. And then America made it something good. You know what I'm saying? Now cowboys are white and this, that, and the third, but cowboys were black men. That's why they called them cowboys, who took care of cattle. You know what I'm saying? But now it's a good thing. You're a cowboy, you're a farmer, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, even with us, when you know, us and I would say Native Americans, when it comes to that, you switch history to make people look bad, errors look bad. You don't, you know, when you come out and you say things like Martin Luther King was cheating on his wife, you don't even know that to be true, but it's got to be true because he black. You know, now Malcolm X was gay. It's because you're talking about black men. Now Bernard Rustin was really the founder, was really the true writer and mind behind the civil rights movement. My bad, man. Trent, what's going on? I'm good, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, Bass Reeves and all that. Like, and Bass Reeves was a slave, but people don't, you know, Bass Reeves basically fought himself towards freedom, right? But that's not looked at that way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, true. It happened a few years ago. They was trying to say Malcolm X was gay. He had a gay lover. You know what I'm saying? You know, even the thing with Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan, you know, they get less credit for the nation and more credit for the extracurricular sexual activities. You know what I'm saying? It's a problem. You know, even before American history, you know, America is a Christian nation who, I think this is where slavery is one thing, but I think really truly this is where it starts when, you know, when you use Christianity, which you would say started in Ethiopia, because that's where Judaism started. And everybody would say Jesus is black, but you can't even have Jesus being a black man and the apostles being black, and you can't even, you know, the Son of Man or the Son of God can't even be black. And but you want us to praise a guy that's not the Son of Man or Son of God, right? If you believe in Jesus in that way, you know, we have a different experience because our experience of our greatness is whitewashed. I'm talking even from Christianity all the way here. You know, when I would talk about Black history, when I would talk about Lewis Latimer, you know, America doesn't talk about Lewis Latimer. They talk about Thomas Edison. You know, America doesn't talk about Benjamin Banneker. You know what I'm saying? They'll talk about somebody like Paul Revere or George Washington. And we should know that something's up because a cherry tree just is that important. When you got to make something as minuscule as chopping down a cherry tree, you know, oh, he was a great man because he won't lie about chopping. You know something messed up about that. You know what I'm saying? You know something messed up about that. When you think about all of the things that Black men contributed to this country, like when they talk about, you know, the Chinese built the railroads, and I keep saying, you know, I'm sure the Chinese were definitely involved, but the problem with that is John Henry should be a Chinese guy. That's what I'm saying. John Henry should be a Chinese guy. But John Henry, the story of John Henry, even in itself, was inmates. Inmates. You know, guys fresh out of slavery that you put in jail for like loitering because they didn't have a job and you made them inmates and now they build railroads. You know, we have a different experience. And when people try to say, oh, you know, it's, you know, this like, it's like that and it's like that, and it's like, I don't want to hear that. You know, when people talk about us as Black men, we are savages and criminals and drug dealers. It's even our experience with that is different because every other group is blatantly criminals. You know, white people are blatantly criminals. You know, Omega, what's happening? My bad. Spirit, what's going on? Yeah. He said Alexander the Great was flaming, but nobody ever cared about it. You know, like people don't talk about people like Nimrod. We talk about Achilles, but you don't talk about Nimrod. Matter of fact, Nimrod is a bad name now. You know, he said so. They ran from that. That's off the chain. Reese, what's happening? That's part of what I was talking about. Hold up, Playboy, what's happening? The Pope. It's weird. It is just so weird. So I will look at our take on life is different from everybody because we don't have our experience is so vast. Like everybody's stealing and taking credit for stuff that they didn't do. I'm glad you chilling. What the hell just happened? Something just popped up on my computer. So it's like somebody, like one of them hacker screens. Like what the hell? But Pablo, what's happening? Yeah, I mean, even when people buy into the negative stereotypes, that's a problem because you know we're criminals. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I like this morning we was watching Hangover. A couple of days ago we was watching Blow, and if anybody who knows who Blow the movie with Johnny Depp, you know, Blow, The Godfather, like America just has a bunch of criminal movies. You know, Bonnie and Clyde and all this, that, and the third, Al Capone. You know, all of these gangster movies. We look at it's just entertainment. These guys are mass murderers and killers doing all kinds of dastardly stuff. But because they're not Black, it don't like. If Al Capone was Black, it'd be a different story. You know what I'm saying? If Bonnie and Clyde was Black, it'd be a different story. Uh, um, if Blow, because Blow is a true story. You know, if picture Power is a fake story, right? What is uh Breaking Bad. If Breaking Bad was a black dude in the South doing all that with meth, it wouldn't last that long. Because and that's based on that's based on a true story. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the Sons of Anarchy, like though when you put black people in those spots, it's the story ain't gonna be that long. People are not gonna be able to get away with it. And the other part about that is like when I went to see the banker, right? When they sent them to jail and they got out of jail, they had a little bit of money to go to the Bahamas. When I see people who steal money big ways, corporate ways, it's funny because these guys wind up stealing millions and millions of dollars and they just retire millionaires. Like y'all let them keep the money. I don't understand what y'all doing. You know. But that's not true, S. Dot. That's not true. You know, that's not true. Like a lot of people, you know, and this is the one thing about, like I said earlier about black men. What's up, Admiral? My bad, Mr. E. What's going on? Is like if I walked outside and somebody who wasn't black was like when I told a story about the kid jumping the fence and I told him if he hopped the fence again and he wake me up, I'm gonna shoot him. Oh, there were people because he wasn't a black kid. They was like, that's wrong. But let me explain something to you. If it was me and I was a black teenager hopping people's fences and I'd have got shot at night, you wouldn't go, that's wrong. You would say you need to stop hopping fences. If you get shot, that's what you get. That's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's supposed to go. So it's a whole different dynamic of how people act. You know, Dan Blitz, yeah. He said, Frank, remember Fred? Shoot. I don't even remember that dude. No, that's what I'm talking about, though. That's what I'm talking about, Jana. Sons of Anarchy is actually based on a true story. You get what I'm saying? That's actually based on a true story. That's the thing. Sons of power ain't real. There's not a true story of a guy doing all of that, killing all of them people like that. That's fictitious. The difference is I'm talking about true stories. You know? What up, Mark? Mike, what's happening? Just like take everybody getting the $1,200, right? The account, you know, they give people $1,200. Now they can print up $1,200 for the vast majority of Americans. But when we talked about reparations, we don't have the money for it. You didn't have the money for this $1,200 per person. But because it's predominantly not black people who was gonna get this $1,200, everybody else, we could find the money. But when black men say this, you owe us reparations. No, we can't do that. It was even to the point where, remember, even when Barack Obama was the president, he didn't want to speak on black issues. And this is another thing about our experience is different. We had a president that was quote a black president, and he made sure the country put money into everybody else's agenda. But when it came to my brother's keeper, we're gonna figure something out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna piece it together. You know what I'm saying? You know what? You know what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give people from the Holocaust money. We're gonna give them reparations. Why? Why are you gonna give people from Austria and Germany reparations in America? That's what Germany is supposed to do. And Germany did it anyways. But they get reparations. Okay, whatever. We're gonna do these things for Hispanics, no problem. We're gonna do these things for Asians, no problem. We're gonna do these things to even black women, no problem. But you even saw how he treated black women. He was like, you need a black woman Supreme Court justice. No, you don't. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's different. It's a different experience. But we're going to get down to my brother's keeper. We're going to make a name of it, my brother's keeper, and then we're going, I don't know, we're going to do something. NFL is the same way. When they was talking about, the NFL needs to do something for quote unquote social justice. Breast cancer awareness is a big deal in the NFL. Why? I just want to know. Because that's not a male issue. That's a female issue. So NFL football, and these players got mothers, I'm sure, but it would make more sense to be something like prostate cancer, something that affects men, or concussion protocol, which affects the players, or old surgeries, knee injuries, stuff like that, heart conditions. That makes sense because a lot of their players have died from these things, right? And a lot of their players are predominantly black, right? But let's not do that. Let's do breast cancer. Let's have a Veterans Month. I ain't tripping on the Veterans Month. That's a cool thing. Because one of their players got killed, and now he's a hero, Pat Tillman. But but that's a whole nother story. Because because Pat Tillman, they got a lot of stuff with Pat Tillman out here. Because I promise you, if Pat Tillman was black, it wouldn't go down like that. If Pat Tillman was like Larry Fitzgerald, they wouldn't put so much for him. They wouldn't do that much for him. It wouldn't be, they would just say, he got shot down by friendly fire. That'd be it. Like, one of our fellows went down. That's all it would be. This is the difference in experience. That's why the Democrats laugh. Power is not realistic. There's no way, Mark. No, power is not realistic. Sorry. This is why I say a black man's experience is completely different. You're not going to have an experience of a black man currently. Matter of fact, let me tell you the closest person you could call power, BMF. And you see where they're at? All in jail. The leaders in jail. The vast majority of the people who is in there in jail. Some of them out now, but that wasn't, and they did it to themselves. You can't be black and a drug dealer like that and out in the open. And think about how realistic this sounds. A black man who is a massive drug dealer, owns a nightclub, lives in a penthouse, and is running for political office and running around town killing everybody. Not only killing everybody, he's killing all of his connects. That doesn't even make all of that is not. And if you pay attention to power, since just using that as an example, the Wire and Power. No, see, people in the Wire wind up freaking dead. But Wire is greater than Power because the Wire was more realistic. The Wire was based on real people. That's why they were always in the hood, in the projects, not leaving, getting killed. And every time they tried to move up in life, they'll be dead. You know what I'm saying? But even with the Power thing, if you notice, all of the real reckless killing was Tommy. Because that's the only person that can get away with stuff. You're not going to see black dudes bubble wrapping people and throwing them off roofs. You're not going to see people burn people and use a fire extinguisher to ha. That's not finna. Ain't no black dudes ain't even try to do that. Get away with it. Even when you look at Ghost's character always had to do stuff in stealth because he couldn't do things out in the open. Tommy was doing crazy shit out in the open. You know what I'm saying? The Frank Lucas movie, right? Frank Lucas, man. And how did that end? It was crazy. Gail Sayers. Oh yeah. People don't realize that. People don't even know who Brian Piccolo is. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of people don't know who Gail Sayers is. You know, this is a problem. And I remember watching because I experienced about what's like a great when you say a great underdog story is a great American story, it's usually us for us as black men, it's us. Like the same thing that's going on with Black Panther right now. Like think about this. I'm gonna use it in this way. Black Panther made $1 billion. Okay, now they trying to get rid of. Now they're trying to make T'Challa. They're trying to push him out and make Shuri the Black Panther, the sister. In the comics, that happens too. But Black Panther is really still the Black Panther, even in the comics. You know what I'm saying? But here's the irony of that. When that movie hit $1 billion, Aquaman backdoored and hit $1 billion. With Jason, I was about to say Mimosa, but with the Samoan, the Samoan cat. What if they said, okay, this movie made $1 billion, we're gonna make Aquaman 2, and we're gonna have one of his girlfriend in the movie be the new Aquaman. She gonna be Aquawoman now. That wouldn't even legit. That wouldn't even fly. If Mrs. Marvel made $1 billion, right? If Mrs. Marvel made $1 billion, and then they say Mrs. Marvel was so good, what we're gonna do is on the second round, we're gonna make it Mr. Marvel. People will say what? But because it's Black Panther, it makes sense. Somehow it makes sense. It's like no, that don't make sense. It really don't. But this is what we doing. You know what I'm saying? This Aquaman was lit. Graham, what's happening? Great Black Shark, my bad. What's happening? Captain Dishwasher. Wow. It's Momoa. Okay. But he's a superhero. Like that's a problem. No, he didn't sign. See, and I'm glad you said that, Q. Do you know what this is? And this is why I say our experience is different. You would say Chadwick Boseman signed a bad deal. Now it's time to renegotiate. Because if you didn't know this, if you might have forgot this. Because if anybody who's okay, first of all, let me see something. If you've been following Marvel, if you've been following Marvel, you know this about Marvel. Robert Downey Jr. had signed a bad deal. See, when Robert Downey Jr. when they first did Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't the highest paid actor in the movie. It was Terrence Howard. And what happened was when the movie made money, Terrence Howard fought for Terrence Howard fought to make sure Robert Downey Jr. get paid, but then he turned around and X'd out Terrence Howard for being War Machine. And then he started getting paid over and over again, and his scale kept going. So they renegotiated with Robert Downey Jr. on his deal. And then it went up and up and up and up. So the same thing that happened like Black Panther, he signed a deal. Now it's time to renegotiate. Now they don't want to do it. Now they don't want to do it with him. See, they did it with Robert Downey Jr. And Robert Downey Jr. ain't the only one they did it with. He was the first one they did it with. Because the first person they got rid of was Terrence Howard. That's how this whole thing started. He said, that's not what I'm saying, Shogun. He had a bad deal because when people remember when Robert Downey Jr. took Iron Man, the reason why he was cast as Iron Man was because of his off the chain real life. They felt like it was a good fit, but he was dead in Hollywood at the time. So because he was dead in Hollywood, he didn't get paid much. He wasn't the highest paid actor. And when he was like, well, since I'm the star of the show, I need to be paid more. That's how it happened. No, Terrence didn't want more money. This is what happens. This is what I mean by our experience is different. Terrence Howard didn't want more money. Terrence Howard wanted the same money that was promised to him on the contract. They scrapped the, they did Terrence Howard like they do football players. This the contract, we signed it, we cut you. Robert Downey Jr., we signed this deal, we're gonna rip up the deal and give you a bigger deal. It was a whole football switch. That's all that was. That's all that was. So I'm saying, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, I know. Sure, it was the Black Panther in the comics, but that's what it was. See, and Illuminati ain't lying about that. He ain't lying about it. At the time when that first kicked off, that was he was out of Hollywood. He was out of Hollywood. Yeah, but he didn't know what was going on. You get what I'm saying? Like this is what I mean. Like our experience, like as black men, we know how this go. People try to move the goalposts with us, and then the rules apply. The rules are standard for everybody, and then you change the rules, and it's applied to this person, but it's not applied to you. But we don't know the rules. We don't act. We can't see like you moving the goalposts and you switching around. It's BS. It was a whole new deal, Dwayne. They scrapped it and started a new deal. Then he got the backing from that new deal. No, I don't think Terrence Howard got compensated for that. I know he went to court. I'm not so sure if he went to court about that. I'm not, because I remember talking about it for a while. It was a very long time ago. James, what's happening? It was such a long time because Terrence Howard kind of he kind of because that's the same remember when Monique did the contract with Netflix and she was like, she wanted to get paid just like the white chick got paid. And you remember the white chick got paid because she felt I did this and I did that. And it's like, you want to get paid like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. You were not on the level of Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, but you want to get paid like them. Okay. And then when Monique tried to do the very same thing, because it was another white actress that said the same thing and she got paid in the movie. It didn't work for Monique. But the irony of that was they didn't use it. It was black dudes used as the catalyst for that. He says over for us. No, man, we aren't giving up on shit. Everybody can trash black women and nobody has to give an explanation. But see that Amy Schumer, what are you talking about? Jessica, this is I'm talking about a black man's experience and you came in talking about trashing black women. I don't understand. Amy, thank you. Yeah, Amy Schumer, like I don't understand. Yeah, but even with Dave Chappelle, like people don't realize one of the reasons that Dave Chappelle left was because Comedy Central did not uphold their contract. Because Comedy Central was supposed to pay Dave Chappelle a percentage, like half for all the DVD sales. And the DVDs, if anybody remember back in the day, them Dave Chappelle DVDs was flying off them shelves. It was flying off them shelves. And the DVDs made so much money because that was the highest selling DVD of something like that of all time in history, I think to this day. And they didn't want to pay him that shit. They didn't want to give him the $50 million deal and still didn't pay him what they contractually was supposed to pay him for the DVDs. That was one of the reasons he left too. But if the Dave Chappelle show was the Jon Stewart show, they wouldn't have did that shit to him. You know what I'm saying? The David Letterman show, the Letterman show. Ooh, you think they would have held that contract? Because they made money hand over fist. But and that's why to this day, Comedy Central ain't even what's up to this day because of that. It was on fire at the time. That's what, you know what, and that's why I was talking earlier. This is, if you catch this, if you'd have caught this in the beginning, Jessica, this is why I'm making this, because our experience are not the same. Black men's experiences and black women's experiences are not the same. They're not. They're not. And I explained that earlier. This, I mean, and for you as a woman, this is a problem that we have in our community. Some of our women think like you, like this. Our experiences are the same. What is that damn Queen and Slim? Queen and Slim should show you our experiences aren't the same. They used that as a police stop to say we the same. I'm a lawyer. I can get out. I can talk crazy to the cops. To the dude's like, oh, that's not a good idea. He got, she got shot because she thought she could do it. The dude knew it was a bad idea, and now it's a bad thing. Black men and black women do not have the same experience. Y'all have a much lighter experience in America than we do. Y'all have a freer experience in America than we do. And, so when you come here with that, that's stupid. And I don't know how to say it any other way. It's just stupid. Y'all think black women's experiences, black men's experiences, and y'all know better. Because if you mess around and have a son, or you got a brother, your son's experiences at your age are completely different than yours, and your brother's experiences, if you grew up with a brother in life, are completely different than yours. You know this already, but it is what it is. I get we on the same team, but we can't be. But we got to be real about how the team experiences things differently. We can't say, oh, we all in the struggle together. We're not struggling the same way. So what maybe uh, paramount for you, or most threatening to you, is not what's most threatening to me. What might be the hardest thing to happen to you, it might not be the hardest thing to happen to me. So we're different. We're just different. That's all. Chirac, what's happening? Anime, what's good? Changed to my bad. This is one of the things. See this, you, Jessica. We don't deal with the same things. We don't deal with the same things. Like, and women like you need to figure that out. Like, we don't. I don't know. I don't know what make you, like, when you say that. It's the same as a white person saying we got the same experience. We're Americans. We're going through the same thing because we're Americans. I don't experience America the same way you do. So we're Americans because we're in America together, but we don't live in the same America. So just like you, Jessica, we're black in America together, but we don't live in the same America. Even between black men and black women, we don't live in the same America. It's not the same. That's delusional. You think because you actually believe because you're a woman, you're a black woman, me as a black man, me and you got the same experience. It's just you a girl, you female, you're delusional. You don't have black women do not have the same traumatic experiences as black men, and black men don't have the same traumatic experiences as black women. You don't. You don't. I'm sorry. See, a lot of you, like when black women, when y'all was little girls, to teenagers, to young boys, to grown men, y'all not accustomed to, if I deal with the police, I'm pretty much accustomed to them either pulling a gun out on me or about to pull a gun out on me. That's not, you're not accustomed to that. I'm accustomed to, if society treating me like I'm gonna, kill somebody, so they about to jump off the deep end. You're not accustomed to that. Black men and black women act completely different in public. Black women go off in public way more than black men because y'all don't have the same consequences. You know, it's just not the same. You know, and if you want to make it the same, you're just doing too much. You're really doing too much. You know, it only makes sense. You know, like that going tunes. What's happening, man? My bad. Nigel was good. All right, payback. My bad. Like this is where things are not the same. They're not going to be the same, and it's okay that they're not going to be the same. It's just I don't want people taking credit for we're the same thing. No, we're not. Black men's image and black women's image is completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was talking about historically, right? Like I was listening to I guess it's part of Expeditiously, where T.I., Tiny, and Monica was talking, and they was like, oh, they had this disagreement where they said women love men unconditionally, and T.I. was like, women do not love men unconditionally. Women love men conditionally, love men to the extent of what they can provide. And the women was like, no, that's not true. Mothers love their sons unconditionally. Now, T.I. wasn't talking about mothers and sons. T.I. was talking about men and women, boyfriend and girlfriend, man, woman, husband and wife. Women do not love men unconditionally. You might have loved your son unconditionally, but you ain't never loved any of your boyfriends unconditionally. And that miscommunication in itself let me know where a lot of things stood. It's just not what it is. He said unconditionally well, but this is where we at with it. You know what I'm saying? And this is because, but the belief is because a mother loves, and it came to me like the belief was because a mother loves her son unconditionally. That means women love men unconditionally, and those things are not a completely separate, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the experiences that it's that's not our experience. Black men don't experience America in any way, shape, form, or fashion loving us unconditionally. Not just black women, just America in general. This country does not love us unconditionally. This country loves everybody else to a degree unconditionally. Like people who are non-black and non-white, this country loves you unconditionally if you jump into the racism game. You're loved as long as you hop on the racism bandwagon. Or so if you can play the silent part, the chin, what's happening? If you can play the silent part of the silent accomplice, America loves you unconditionally. But now when you try not to play that, it's a different story. Astro King, Knight, what's that? So it's not the same. Jessica, I think you really don't understand America by what you say. Because this is the part, and I'm not, I guess because you're a woman, you think I'm talking to you just because you're a woman to respond to this, but that's not really it. The issue is what you're typing, you don't even understand how black men think or black men's experiences. You're typing what you think we think. Black guys really think America has given black women a leg up in society when they haven't. Black women say, I'm a double minority. So that says that they think they got a leg up on society. Not us. We're not the ones that think that. They just gave women that. Where did they get the coins from? Because if you would understand, black women still make less money than black men, or still worth less money than black men. That is a problem. That ideology is a problem because it's not true. Like I remember being out and this white guy was telling me how Chicago was, right? because he was watching Fox News like 2-3 years ago. And then in Chicago, what about in Chicago? And I'm like, that's not how Chicago works. You don't know anything. You don't know. I watch the news all the time in Chicago. It's Chicago. I was like, I grew up in Chicago. And because I grew up in Chicago and I'm telling him, he couldn't fathom that he's talking to a person who actually lived in Chicago, who actually is from Chicago, but he's talking to a person. He's like, that's not how it is. I saw it on the news. They told me on Fox. I'm like, that's not how it works. But it's Chicago, and they told me if I lived there and you want to tell me what the news told you there, fine. But it's not what you think it is. And he was like, it's so violent in Chicago. I was like, it's not that violent in Chicago. It says it on the news. I'm like, yeah. Chicago's crime rate has been decreasing for the last 30, 40 years. They just put the shootings on TV now. But as far as how many shootings and murders were happening in Chicago for the last 20, 30, 40 years, it's dramatically less. It's like I was there in the 90s. It was way more shootings and way more murders. You can go and check it yourself. No, Fox told me. I'm like, man, you stupid, man. You don't want to hear that. It's out of your realm of thinking. And that becomes a problem. When somebody's telling you what it is, you live in China. Oh, Reese. You know what, Reese? Did they actually have a second wave of I guess the coronavirus, Wuhan, or I know there's another one that came out. Did they actually have a second wave of viruses out there? Because I had been reading that. So, since you out there, I'm gonna just ask you directly. So this is where this goes. Like it makes no sense. Oh shit! I did it the wrong. Pressure, what's happening? Yeah, like it's been going down. The streets ain't what they used to be. But this is interesting. But that's how it is, Bucky. Like people don't, like even that's why I say we have a different experience. Like when black men speak about our experience, people try to tell us what our experience is, and it's like that's not it. That's not what my experience is. Not what you made up in your mind. My experience to be. My experience is what I'm telling you it was. Not, everybody else can quote unquote live their truth and speak their truth. But when it comes to us speaking our truth and living our truth, no, that's not it. That can't be what it is. No, it's not. It's like, man, you don't even like you tripping right now. Like you can't take and you can't handle a reality that's alternative from yours. What you got, okay. Yeah, okay. That's why I was asking. I appreciate that, Reese. What about right? It's two different experiences. It's two different experiences. But that's what goes on. This is where we at with it. What's the real? This is where we at in society, and I think I'm just saying, like, because brothers in different eras, like I was going to say this earlier, brothers in different eras have a different experience too. Brothers who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s have a different experience from brothers in their 30s, 40s, 30s, 20s. Different experiences, and we know the experience in America, but we know there's different nuances for different generations. And I think, and sometimes other people lump us into other black men's experiences of other generations. That's not us. Sometimes you might overlap certain things, but we got their brothers alive who dealt with Jim Crow in that way. We didn't. You know what I'm saying? Their brothers who lived through the quote unquote, the crack era. People now didn't. And this is, even when I talk about eras now, like even with young men, try to be real hard and hood, and it's like you're not. If you was an 80s baby or you grew up in the crack era, and then you're a kid who grew up, I don't know, from like you were born in the late 90s and you started living like the 2000s, 2010s, and you trying to you grew up in two different eras. Like it ain't as wild as it was back then. It's not. You know, you know. But see, Jessica, that's your problem. That's your problem. You think, black men don't look at somebody talking or talking about them as, oh, I'm attacked. Black men don't look at that. That's a female thing in general, though. Oh, he attacked me. He hurt me. He said these things about me. He bashed me. Oh my God. No. Look, I've been shot at. Like, you really think I give a shit about words? And most, I've had guns pointed at me. You really think I give a shit about words? Most of these brothers have been within the same frame. You think they give a shit about words? You think black men walk around, oh, I'm hurt by your words? No, fuck no. What's up, High City? Like like I'm saying, it's a different vibe, right? Like when I remember I saw T.I.'s son. I dare you to take my chain with the phone in there. I dare you to take my chain. How I grew up, I'm gonna take your phone and then I'm gonna knock your ass out and take your chain for even putting me on a damn camera. That's how we grew up. It wasn't see what I'm gonna do, see what I'm gonna do. When I see all these young cats, these guys beefing over the phone. Nobody beefs over the phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say something else. Pull up, nigga. Pull up. See what you want to do. Like, people actually pull up and shoot your ass for shit like that. Because people used to talk like that on a regular phone. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna. And you hang up that phone, 10 minutes later, somebody be right at your door. Be standing right outside. Telling you, bring your ass downstairs. Beeping the horn. Or getting out the car with guns. That's how we grew up. It was a whole different reality. It's a whole different reality. You know what I'm saying? You better not do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. Okay. Keep. Okay. I don't think you want to do that. Right. Like I came up in an era where there were consequences and repercussions. People run from consequences and repercussions now. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. In the 90s, even in the 80s, if you told somebody you ain't gonna do nothing to me, that was an open invitation for them to pull up on you. You say, I'm not gonna do what? Oh, really? Oh, okay. And nobody was calling the police. Nobody was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? He was assaulted at 7:30. I don't know why this person came, blah, 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 blah. None of that happened. It was, you shouldn't have said that shit. You be sitting in the kitchen with your family members. What happened? Well, I told him he wasn't going to do nothing. And he just, like 10, 20 minutes later, he showed up to the house and I didn't think he was going to do nothing. I walked outside and then he hit me. And he kept hitting me. And I don't know what happened. And they're going to tell you, so you told him he wasn't going to do nothing, huh? Yep. So you don't believe fat meat greasy, huh? No, you know not. That's what you get. You got your ass whipped, cool. You want to get back, go get them back. But don't bring that shit to my house. Yeah. It's crazy. He said, L.A., those were the words. No, they're not. They're like, what the heck, Jessica, what world do you live in? Like, what world do you live in? Well, law authority might not be threatened by black women. That's very true. Law authority isn't threatened by women in general. But there are countless black women that experience the same treatment from the system. No, they're not. No, they're not, Jessica. I told you a week ago, I was on here a week ago, and my cousin got killed by his girlfriend. She didn't get a complete homicide charge. She was on bail, a $10,000 bond. That don't happen with dudes. Dudes don't go around can kill somebody and then get a $10,000 bond when they actually started the shit. That was a black woman. Like, what are you talking about? There are black women who are drug dealers. They don't go to jail for the same time period. There are black women who fight all the time. They're not going to jail for assault. You can see black women fight everywhere on the. There are black women who speed all the time, don't really get tickets. There are black women who wind up going to jail and they release them immediately because they're women in general. I don't know if you've never been to jail before, but they release black women and women in general on a. She can have a warrant or this, tickets, whatever. They're gonna throw her in for like 5 minutes and throw her ass out, and then they square. Dude's gonna do the whole goddamn time or get bailed out. I don't know what world you living in. You be making it, y'all, people like you make shit up because you ain't really live. I live long enough to know that whatever you talking ain't real. It ain't. And if you really a black woman, you should know. Y'all been bleaching clothes, keying up cars, slashing tires. Yes, don't go to jail for that shit. Like, you don't live in a real world. Phineas, what's happening? Oh, you live off 126. Yeah, come on, man. Wild 100, man. Come on, man. like I don't know what people like you think. Like, you're just like women in general. Women in general get the same treatment by law enforcement as white people. They get the same treatment. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, they gotta. Oh, next time we'll make it up. I'm sorry. Next time they're not gonna act so bad. How many women have got? I've been on here a few times with Dana, the real Dana. Dana has Dana's is cool with Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown said on one of Dana's shows that even when guys go to court for family court and custody, a woman can get away with pretty much anything in those courts. That ain't the same, okay? It's not. Like, you tripping. I know. I know. Yeah, Dana cool with Judge Joe Brown. Like, you go to Dana's page. She has plenty of shows with Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown said it on his show. Matter of fact, it was her. It was her, Judge Joe Brown, and Kevin Samuels. It was them three. Rollo, what's happening, man? Mr. Edmore, what's going on? No, they don't. No, they don't. 100 black girls went missing in Brooklyn, and they missing and getting. This is why I don't, This is why. What's up? This is why, this is this is the type of stuff that's the problem. Young black girls get tried as adults just like black boys. No, they don't. No, they don't. I got people that I went to high school with that wound up getting 43 and 47 years. Wasn't the girls. I got homeboys that got felonies. Jessica, do you realize when they say you can't get a job as a felon, they're talking about black men. Black women who catch felonies still get jobs. White men who have felonies get jobs. They're talking about black men who, if you catch a felony, you won't get a job. I don't know. I mean, truck driving, you can get a job. Construction, you can get a job. That's why you see a lot of brothers in truck driving, construction, and trades a lot of times because, they when you got a felony, there you go. Is it leave it alone bucket? No, I'm just using it as an example. I'm just using it as an example. Because what's going to wind up happening is some sisters come across these things and they look at it and they be like, we women, we don't say things like that. And we're not talking like that. And we don't think like that. This is a prime example. That's all it is. That's all it is. She just trolling. That's what it's about. But like this is where, because I've known numerous black women who've been felons, predominantly for theft, predominantly from stealing. you know, they always had jobs. I know black women who were in the streets dealing drugs. There's a lot of drug dealers who are female who deal drugs at their house, and everybody know it. Even the police, they don't bother them. If it's dudes doing that, you're gonna get a problem. You gonna get something happen to you. You know what I'm saying? That's where it is. But you know, I think ladies don't ladies like Jessica don't get that. Yeah, exactly. You don't have a felony. I appreciate that. Like, you don't have what? You don't have what? You don't have that? You know. See what I'm saying? This is that's a situation that can't happen with men. You know. But they don't take these things into consideration. And it's the same thing with white. Like, I know white dudes who's felons got good jobs. I know white dudes, who lied and got caught lying on their applications, got good jobs. I know Asian dudes Asians who wound up getting good jobs, they got caught lying and everything. It's okay. Padding their resume, it's okay. They and kept the jobs. It doesn't happen with us. You know what I mean? That just doesn't happen with us. But I have sisters who were unqualified for jobs, and they got the jobs, and they told them they got to do this to keep the job. They still didn't do it, but they still kept the job. This type of stuff happens all the time. Like, it's been happening. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying, it's not a lot of these black men is not our experiences. I used to know, a lot of sisters who used to get a lot of free cell phones and stuff, and accessories with their phones, because they get on the phone and something's wrong with this and something's wrong with that, and they'll send them free shit. I don't get perks. I don't get when people say a grace period, or I can't pay this right now, so could you put it aside, or could you let this slide? I don't get those type of things. I know other people who got it, but I don't really see black men getting those things. I just don't. I've seen women who couldn't pay their rent and mortgage get extensions, and be okay. And I've seen, if a dude do that, he gonna lose the fucking house. That's what's gonna happen. That's how it is. So it's just off the chain. It's just a different experience. Now, I've seen white guys just get behind and just, you know, you know, it is what it is. It just is what it is. Let me start to get out of here, because I'm almost here for an hour and 30 minutes. Let me get out of here, man. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I still gotta go jogging and whatnot. So y'all have a good one. Catch y'all the next one, and peace. And keep listening to Prince, because he be jamming.